How much signal I need to cut across 8 lane? None? I turn now. Good luck, everybody else.
Family Guy. They get away with so much. It's like they're offensive to just about everybody. But in the concept of good humour, that clip was funny. I like that clip. In fact, that clip, in my opinion, that clip would be funny no matter who was behind the wheel. You know, that clip would have been funny if it was a male driving, or an old person, young person, black person, white person. It doesn't matter. I just find that clip really funny, in the interest of good humour, of course. But what's not funny is real road rage. And we all experience it. We all experience road rage, some more than others, depending on our patience. And you know what? You probably cause road rage as well. And you might not even realise that you cause it. Because, like everyone, you probably make mistakes as well. So, what causes road rage? Well, you know, we could talk about this for hours. We could thrash out dozens and dozens and dozens of things that cause road rage. But in my opinion, we can kind of categorise most of these things as one of two things. So, reason number one, your expectations. Yes, I said it. Someone else doing wrong by you on the roads. I'm not excusing them, but your expectations of what they're going to do is probably contributing towards the road rage that you're experiencing. What I mean by this is, if your expectations aren't aligned with the reality of life, then you're likely to be disappointed. If you expect people to drive to the speed limit, not speed, indicate when they need to, not change lanes and cut in front of you, etc., etc. If this is what you're expecting, unfortunately the reality of the situation is that that's not life, certainly not on the roads in this country. And so your expectations not being aligned with reality are going to be causing you the road rage that you're possibly experiencing. And then there's the mistakes that people make, you know, and we could put this up as number 2, 3, 4, 5. But again, people make mistakes, and you need to be ready. You need to be prepared for people to make mistakes. If you think people aren't going to make mistakes, then again, you're going to be bitterly disappointed. You will make mistakes as well. In fact, I was recently reminded that we're all human and we all make mistakes, even me. I made a mistake recently at work, and a couple of colleagues and myself, we became aware of this mistake at the same time. And one of my colleagues fixed it, great, not a problem, you know, no disaster happened, nothing dreadful. Mistake was corrected, and it was quite a humbling experience, to be completely honest, because the feedback I got from these colleagues was, Pete, don't worry about it. We all make mistakes. We're all human, you know, and it happens to the best of us. Yeah, there was a few jokes thrown in there, like, you know, we all make mistakes except you don't, and you just made one. Okay, had to take that one on the chin. But we do. We all make mistakes, and if you make a mistake on the road, you're probably going to want forgiveness. You probably don't want someone screaming and shouting at you, although if they did, you'd probably understand it at the same time. So yes, we all make mistakes. And the thing is, human beings judge people all the time. It's something that even if you say, oh no, I'm not a judgy person, actually you are. You have to judge people all the time. Every junction you approach, every time you're driving, you're judging people. And the thing is, as human beings, the way we judge people is we judge people on what they actually did. And so to us, what they did could be this huge mistake, but then we judge ourselves based on what we intended to do. So the person that's just forgotten to indicate or cut you off at a roundabout, they might not necessarily have intended to do that. So to them, it's this little thing, it's this little mistake, and they expect a little bit of forgiveness. But if you're doing what human beings do and judging them based on what they did, to you it's this huge thing, and it's something that we do all the time. So remember that everybody makes mistakes. You're going to make mistakes, and you're going to want people to forgive you as well. Along the same lines as expectation versus reality, yes, people make mistakes, is the fact that some people make stupid decisions. And I don't mean that they accidentally did something wrong, that they didn't mean to. No, they actually do make stupid decisions. There's stupid decisions going on all the time. You know, people make stupid decisions at work, people make stupid decisions on the road, people make stupid decisions in Parliament. And again, it's categorizing that as expectations versus reality, because if you expect people not to make stupid decisions, again, you're going to be disappointed, because people do make stupid decisions. And then there's the people who just plain don't give a they don't care if the speed limit's 30. They won't feel no two ways about doing 40, 50, 60. They don't care about you. In fact, a lot of people, they don't care about other people. A lot of people's attitude, unfortunately, is if they're okay, you know, F everybody else. They don't care about anyone else. They don't care about other people. But again, it's the expectations versus reality. Unfortunately, on the roads, we have to expect sometimes the worst. And if you get anything more than that, then that's a bonus. But if you expect people to not give a if you expect people to make stupid decisions, or if you expect people to genuinely make mistakes, and then these things happen, you're a lot less likely to get triggered by it, because you've realigned your expectations with reality. Let me just try and show you where I am. Well, this is where I am today. In fact, it's a grim day. It would look a lot nicer than this if the weather weren't so terrible. But still, even though it's a bit of a grim day, it's still lovely. Look at that over there. The phenomena we see. Ooh, Land Rover. Momentary distraction there. Don't think I'll be flying the drone today. So before we move on to number 2, let me just say, when I'm out on the bike, not so much nowadays, but certainly in the beginning when I first started riding motorbikes, I found that I experienced, oddly, ironically, a lot less road rage. And I think that's because when I'm on the bike, and let me know in the comments how you are, if you ride a bike. When I first started riding a motorbike, I felt like everything around me was trying to kill me. And I know I'm certainly not the only person that said this. There's certainly a bit of a sense of feeling like that, and I think it's because you're so exposed. You don't have a steel cage around you to protect you. You don't have airbags, and so it is a much more dangerous method of transport. And I found very quickly that I was expecting a lot worse from people on the road when I was on the bike. I was expecting people to get too close to me, expecting people to speed, to cut in front of me, etc, etc. And because of that, I experienced less road rage. Now, fortunately, some of that experience is definitely carrying forward and carrying through into my driving of cars. And so nowadays, I do experience less road rage. I'm not immune to it, absolutely not. It has certainly helped me with my acceptance of what things are like on the road. And it sounds a little defeatist in a way, but expecting the worst certainly helps you deal with the crap that the roads then throw at you. So, what can you do about road rage? So we've looked at number one. It's caused by expectations not being aligned with reality. So what can you do about this? Well, it's important to understand why road rage happens. When something happens on the road and you react to it, if somebody was to ask you about that, then your response would probably be along the lines of, well, they did this and so I just automatically reacted. And it's that automatic that's key there. People often talk about road rage incidents, you know, screaming and shouting at another driver as something that was way beyond their control. They couldn't help it, it just happened, they blurted it out. Now, you may feel better getting it off your chest. I don't want to take that away from you. I'm not immune to it. I will occasionally scream and shout and feel better about it in that moment. But it's important to understand why it happens, why you immediately react. So it's part of your body's natural responses, your natural reactions. It's called amygdala hijack. Now, your body's sympathetic nervous system is always ready to trigger your fight or flight response when there is a danger. Your sympathetic nervous system will flood your body with hormones, and your body is then ready to fight the danger, fight the threat, or flee from it. The amygdala can trigger your fight or flight response even when there isn't a genuine threat, a genuine danger. Amygdala hijack, I mean, the word hijack, it's crucial there because it really does hijack your body. It takes over your body. When someone does something on the road, that amygdala hijack, it kicks in, triggers your fight or flight response that actually may not be needed. Somebody may have just forgotten to indicate. You were nowhere near crashing into them, and yet amygdala hijack triggers you to respond with all sorts of verbal and physical gestures, perhaps. What you can do about this, a couple of things really. I won't go into everything that you can do in regards to amygdala hijack. Certainly Google it, it's certainly an interesting read. The first thing you can do is to practice acceptance. And again, we're back to expectations versus reality. Practice acceptance. Expect that people are going to make mistakes, and you'll be far less likely to have your body overridden by this amygdala hijack. If you practice acceptance, you will see incidents where you don't get triggered as much. You don't immediately respond with F this, F that, and various other physical gestures. Acceptance is definitely the key. The other thing that you can do, if you practice acceptance and you expect essentially the worst, then in that moment where something happens, because you're far less likely to immediately react, you will buy yourself a second, half a second even, just to take that deep breath. That's your control. That's you not getting triggered by what could be a minuscule incident. Now, I'm not excusing huge mistakes that people make on the road and those that do so deliberately and don't care about others. But there are so many little minor mistakes that other people make that we see as these huge issues. These little incidents, they don't need to screw up your day unless you let it. Well, I was taking some photos. But yeah, it's bloody raining again. Not having this. Oh, not the right day for it. Really isn't. So anyway, we tried to take some photos. We got one or two. So road rage, number two, the second thing that causes it. I mean, you can almost say that it's just caused by other people and what they've just done or almost done to you. But number two for me is that you focus on what could have happened. You focus on what might have happened. Somebody may have just done something and you've done an emergency stop, and you're now focusing on the fact that you almost crashed into them. You may have been injured. Your passengers, your friends, your family, the people that are in the car with you, they might have been injured. Somebody could have been killed. And then there's your vehicle. There's your pride and joy. Someone else has just potentially almost injured, damaged, written off your pride and joy. And so we focus on what almost happened and not what actually did happen. Now, I've been driven into by a blue Polo when I was driving Lexi. I've parked my car in a car park, come back a few hours later to find that it's been moved back 3-4 feet because someone drove into me whilst I was parked and not there. I was driving Roky, my Mini, my fourth Mini, and I was driven into by a transit van. That wasn't pretty, transit van versus a Mini. And so these accidents, the accidents do happen, but when something triggers us, someone's done something, someone's caused us to do an emergency stop, they've driven in front of us, cut us off, forgotten to indicate, etc. We focus on what might have happened rather than actually what did happen. Again, it's in that moment that the incident has occurred that your control exists. You can say to yourself, and you can practice saying to yourself, okay, but it didn't happen. They didn't drive into me. I'm not injured. My passengers, my car, my pride and joy, we're not injured. No, I wouldn't expect you to just instantly start saying, oh yeah, that's fine, it didn't happen. The next time someone cuts you off or someone causes you to do an emergency stop, you might still come out with the F's this and F's that and various physical gestures. But afterwards, ask yourself, what actually happened? What damage actually was caused? And then practice in those moments. Practice telling yourself, take a deep breath and tell yourself, it didn't happen. They didn't drive into me. I'm not injured. My passengers, my car, we're not injured. And eventually what will happen is when someone cuts you off, you have to do an emergency stop. That will be your default position. Your default position will then be to take a deep breath and accept that it didn't happen. Bearing in mind that you're already, from number one, practicing acceptance and expecting people to make mistakes, expecting people to make stupid decisions, and expecting people just not to give about you on the road. So then, with all of those practices going on, you'll be able to take back your control. Oh no, I left Lexi's lights on again. Bugger. This could be an interesting one. Have I got enough of a hill here to get going? Whoops. Come on, Lex. Show us how good you are. Show us how good Quiksilvers can be. Oh, come on. Oh, well, that was interesting. Although that guy, that really helpful chap, gave us a push start, I thought that'd be it. I thought I'd be home free. But no, Lexi's not happy. We didn't make it very far. In fact, we made it as far as Becky Falls. So we are now stranded in Becky Falls car park, which wouldn't be all that bad if I could ring the AA. But I can't do that either. I'm with the AA, but there's no phone signal and there's no Wi-Fi. So I've just got back from the local village where the guys in the local pub were really helpful and they let me use their landline. And so yes, the AA, they are on their way. It's odd though, I've had a number of flat batteries over the years and a push start is normally all it takes. Definitely a little bit more than just a flat battery, I think. But anyway, AA are on their way. So shall we summarise what we were talking about, road rage? So if you manage your expectations of what other people are going to do, that'll give you that little half a second that you need when something happens to claw back your own control and control your reaction to it. You'll get far less triggered when you manage your expectations of what other people are going to do. That doesn't mean necessarily that you're never gonna scream and shout, you know, and F this, F that, F the other, and have a complete meltdown. You could become Kyle from South Park.
Hey, you squatty ass shit! What the f is wrong with you? You must be some kind of you like to
Oh, good old South Park. Yes, you could still have little outbursts. But remember, whilst you can't control what other people do, you are completely in control of your own reactions. Thank you for watching. I guess I'm just going to wait for the AA now. We should be here at some point in the next 2 hours.